everybody, and welcome into another episode of Fantasy Football Picks and Bets, presented to you by PrizePicks. I'm your girl, Lauren Carpenter. You can find me on social media at StepMomLauren, and we are looking at waivers and streamers for Week 13. Very hard to believe that we are already in Week 13 of the season, but alas, here we are. We also have injuries that we need to go over, boo hiss, as well as a recap on the leaderboard for our 7-11 challenge. That's right. Now, just to remind everybody, the 7-11 challenge update I'm going to give you today is actually from last week. We have so many participants that it takes a long time to update the newest leaderboard every single week. So we're like a week ahead, and the 7-11 challenge is like a week behind. But either way, we do have more movement on our leaderboard challenge. But before leaderboard challenge, the 7-11 challenge, more movement on the leaderboard for the 7-11 challenge is what I actually mean. But before we hop into that, get involved. Come hang out. Come join the fun on PrizePicks.com. Use the promo code MMN and you get your deposit of up to $100 matched. That's right. It's like free money, and it is so easy to play. And there's not just sports like the NFL. There are tons of other things that you can do. You can get involved. Get involved in the 7-11 challenge. 5 over-under picks from the Thursday and Sunday slate of games, not the Monday, because I'm here talking to you about it. So no Monday game, but Sunday and Thursday, 5 over-under picks, and you just change your bet amount to $7.11. That's it. That's how easy it is, and that is how PrizePicks will track it. Again, PrizePicks.com. There's also a link in the description of this video. It'll take you right there. Use the promo code MMN to get your deposit of up to $100 matched. Again, it's a ton of fun. I really enjoy playing PrizePicks.com. I'm not doing very well on the leaderboard, but alas, that's okay, because this challenge is not about me, my friends. This challenge is for you. We have prizes for first, second, and third place. It is pretty awesome. Last week, we had the venerable Alan W. get ousted by Joseph W., who was holding his first place position by himself. Now, we have an update. That's right. Alan W. has taken back the lead. He is back solidly in first place. If I'm speaking to you, Alan, you are back in first place with 43 correct. Again, this is up through, not last week. So up through week 11, not through week 12. I will come to you with the week 12 updates next week. So we still have this past weekend's slate of games that we have to add on here. But for the time being, Alan W., you are back in first place, my friend, with 43 correct by yourself. And in second place, Joseph W., this is where you are with Nicholas R. You are both tied at 40. And then we have a few people here at 39 correct. We have Jason K., Jude D., and Marcus F. You all are tied at third. Remember, we have prizes for first, second, third. We have prizes for dead in the middle. We have prizes for dead last. Speaking of dead last, we have Ty S. You are at 0. So is Nicholas T, Dale P, John B, Jasmine C, Francis K, Alexa D, and Will H. Hi, welcome to the party. You all are at 0. So come in and join the fun. It's very easy to play. Again, it's 5 over-unders from the Thursday and the Sunday slate of games. 5 over-under picks. Change your bet amount to $7.11. That is how they track it. If you don't change that bet amount, you won't be in on the competition. It's not too late, like I said, because prizes all across the board. Come join in on the fun. Super easy. Use the promo code MMN to get your deposit of up to $100 matched. Now we've got to get into the not fun part, because we had some significant injury news from this weekend, and this breaks my heart. But Christian McCaffrey, he is on IR and his season is over. That's right. Running back for the Carolina Panthers, the quote-unquote cheat code of fantasy football, is breaking everyone's hearts. He rolled his ankle. He's done. He's done for the season. So if you hung on to Chuba Hubbard, like myself and other people have told you to do, if you are the Christian McCaffrey manager, or even if you're not, congratulations. You now have a stud, possibly a league winner for this week. and on. And then Dalvin Cook, running back for the Minnesota Vikings, not nearly as bad, but he did suffer a dislocated shoulder, and that tore his labrum. Now, this isn't season ending, but he is expected to miss at least 2 weeks. So if you have Alexander Mattison, now is the time to plug him in. Deebo Samuel, this was one because he is my MVP so far for a very significant league that I am in. Deebo Samuel has a groin injury. He was getting MRI test done today, and we'll figure out kind of what's going on with him. He has avoided, hopefully, serious injury, but he is likely to miss time, something to monitor as we move into week 13. And then Darren Waller from Thursday, he avoided a major knee injury, but he did sprain his IT band, and no clear timeline on him yet. Not really sure what's going on, but again, keep your eyes on him. I will bring up Foster Moreau, the backup tight end, if you will, or the tight end 2 for the Raiders a little bit later in this episode. And then we have Aaron Rodgers. He is still dealing with that toe injury that he very proudly displayed on national television during a press conference, but that is neither here nor there. But Aaron Rodgers has decided not to undergo toe surgery, which is one of the reasons I bring him up here in this episode when we're talking about injuries. So he was going to think about it, then he was like, sure, maybe, no, he's not. Okay, they're going into their bye, so let's hope that this extra week of rest will do him good for anyone who is dealing with Packers players that rely on Aaron Rodgers. And speaking of Packers players, Randall Cobb, he left the game early after breaking the hearts of all the Devontae Adams owners. He suffered a groin injury, so that is something to keep your eye on. Again, the Packers are going into a bye this week, so extra rest should do them good, but it's something to keep your eyes on. And Miles Sanders, perennially injured, he injured his ankle in their loss against the Giants. He also did not play well either. So, there's that. Very depressing, especially for everyone who always so excited about Miles Sanders, and he never really pulls through for you. But he's injured again, so keep your eyes on him. I will also bring up Boston Scott in a little bit when we talk about our running back waiver options. But last but not least, DeAndre Swift, he suffered a shoulder injury on Thanksgiving. He is considered day to day. So that is something to keep your eyes on with his health and his status moving forward. Either way, Jamal Williams should be a solid play for you here in week 13. Now, let's hop into these waiver wire targets because last week was awful. It was god-awful. It was so bad I struggled to get through the episode without wanting to cry. And in fact, when I went back and re-watched the episode, my face was just a look of utter disdain through the entire thing. So I'm very sorry about that. I'm usually a very happy person, but the waiver wire was terrible. This week, we have some options. Like I mentioned, Jamal Williams for the Lions. He's shockingly only about 40% rostered. That's crazy to me. But he did step up in a big way once DeAndre Swift went down. He had 15 rush attempts for 65 yards. He also had 5 targets, which is very important because DeAndre Swift is very involved in the passing game. So with DeAndre Swift gone, he was able to get 5 receptions on those 5 targets for 18 yards. They will face Minnesota, Denver, and then Arizona. It's awful. The schedule is not good, but again, desperate times, desperate measures. A few of these I will be saying that for because that's just kind of where we are here in the season. But Jamal Williams for the Lions stepping up in place of DeAndre Swift, who is considered day-to-day 42% rostered. And I mentioned his name already, but we have Boston Scott. He is 18% rostered. He is one of the plethora of running backs on the Eagles, which I never like to trust, but it looks like Boston Scott is kind of stepping up into that necessary role. Let's call him Mr. Gadget in that role because he has been playing well. He had 15 rush attempts for 64 yards, including a touchdown. He also had 2 receptions on 3 targets for only 8 yards. But he's explosive and he can get some things done there. I was thinking that Kenny Gainwell was going to be ousting Boston Scott, but no, he's not. It's like they bring in Kenny Gainwell at the very end of the game in the last half of the fourth quarter, and they're like, let's see what you can do, kid. But they're just relying here on Boston Scott, especially with Jordan Howard out with his knee injury, I believe. And their schedule is very, very juicy for running backs. This is for the Eagles I'm talking about. They're facing the Jets. They do have a bye right after that, so something to be aware of. And then they face Washington. So it's a very favorable schedule for running backs. He is only 18% rostered. Then we have Dontrell Hilliard. This amazes me. 27% rostered. He is a preseason and special teams guy, but no more. he is actually legit. Is he the real deal behind Deonta Foreman? Now, Adrian Peterson was released. That was before last week's game. So Deonta Foreman is the guy that the Titans want to lean on. But Hilliard, he made waves. He had 12 carries for 131 yards and a touchdown, 42 return yards. That was last week. Now, the week before that, he had 7 carries for 35 yards. He also had 10 targets, 8 receptions, 47 yards, and 65 return yards. That was in week 11. So I think he might be the real deal. I really love those players that can be a splash in the passing game as well as in the return game, because we kind of tend to overlook that, right? In fantasy football, we just kind of look at rushes and carries and receptions, but yards are yards. So if you're in a league, hopefully, that does include return yards for your wide receivers or your running backs, Dontrell Hilliard, he's still only 27% rostered. Now, he has a bye, so just understand that going into it. Bye week here, and Jacksonville, Pittsburgh, San Francisco is what the Titans are looking at here. So I definitely like that. And then one that I feel is kind of a stretch that I don't really love, it's Tevin Coleman. Tevin Coleman for the Jets. I don't want this to be a thing. I don't. But he's only 21% rostered. But he did see a bulk of the carries with rookie Michael Carter sidelined. He had 16 carries for 67 yards. And it was 3, targets, 2 receptions, 3 yards. Blah. We don't really care about that because that's where Ty Johnson should be stepping up, which is tough with the Jets. And it's not like they're in the lead all the time where they're going to be relying on the run game. And yet here we are talking about Tevin Coleman. It's insane. But especially if you're in deeper leagues, Tevin Coleman may be an option for you. And even if you're not, he's a starting running back. Kind of hard to find on the waiver wire. They play Philadelphia, New Orleans, and then Miami. So the schedule isn't awesome. But again, he's an RB1-ish. He's technically the RB1. And he's a warm body, that carries the football. So, I guess there's other options like, not rostering anybody who's in the starting position there. But, Tevin Coleman. I can't believe we're mentioning all these names like Deonta Foreman, Adrian Peterson, and Tevin Coleman. It sounds so crazy to me. But here we are. This is what's going on in 2021. And I also do want to mention that if Alexander Mattison is available by some stretch of the imagination, swoop him up because, as I mentioned earlier, Dalvin Cook is going to miss at least 2 weeks. So Alexander Mattison is going to be a must start for the next 2 weeks. Swoop him up off the waiver wire if he is somehow still available. Now let's jump into our wide receivers. Now there are 3 here that stand out the most to me, but there are a lot of options. Not all of these options are great, and I will explain to you why when we get there. But the 3 that are standing out to me the most is Kendrick Bourne from the Patriots. He has really emerged as a go-to, not just I'm using the word gadget here a lot, but not just as like a home run, hold your breath, jump in the deep end kind of player. He is only 20% rostered on the Patriots, and Mac Jones, he's trusted him. He's looked at him. He had 6 targets, 5 receptions for 61 yards, but he had 2 touchdowns out of that. Now, that does seem a little touchdown dependent to me, but Mac Jones is looking for him to make big plays, and he's looking for him to make big plays in the red zone and in the end zone, which is what we like to see in fantasy football. Now, their schedule is tough, but Mac Jones is playing very well, and you can't underrate or anything. Just don't ever underestimate Bill Belichick because he knows how to get it done, and Mac Jones has done very well flourishing in this offense. They are playing Buffalo, Indianapolis, and then Buffalo again. So it's going to be tough, but I trust this. Trust is a harsh word. I like it. I think it's a splash play. 20% rostered, so pretty widely available, especially if you need a wide receiver. Like, if Deebo Samuel's out for the next foreseeable future, you're going to need someone to pick up. Another option that's more of a field stretch here, and this is on the Colts side, T.Y. Hilton. He somehow is still healthy. This is awesome news because he can be somewhat finicky when it comes to staying on the field. He is only 25% rostered. And if the Colts just really insist on blowing leads every single game and then have to scramble until the very last second of every single matchup, might as well put someone like T.Y. Hilton in your lineup who stretches the field. He had 5 targets, 4 receptions, 28 yards, and a touchdown. But that's low yardage for him. It's normally higher. He has a deep average depth of deep average target, I should say, yard per target. It's just one of those weird things with the Colts that it's not a guarantee. ever when it comes to someone like T.Y. Hilton. But again, he's done very well the last few weeks. Only 25% roster. They're facing Houston, which is very favorable for them. New England and then Arizona. A little bit two more tough matchups for T.Y. Hilton, but still an option. He is available. And then finally, speaking of field stretching, this is like the definition of field stretching. Also widely available. DeSean Jackson for the Raiders. This might be a little caliente, as I like to say, but he is only 5-ish% rostered. I've seen him like less than 1% rostered in some leagues. He has assumed the deep threat Henry Ruggs role. He saw the highest amount of targets he's had as a Raider, which, makes sense because I think he's only been active for 1 week, but second highest targets actually, I believe, on the season with 4. 3 receptions, 102 yards. That is nothing to sneeze at, and that man is still fast. I don't care how old he is, and I don't care how many teams he's played for. He is fast. He also logged a touchdown, but what's very interesting is that his average yard per target is 25.5. So if you want to talk about big play, you only need 1 or 2 catches out of this guy to make your fantasy day. It's pretty amazing. And again, that means he's going to be boom or bust, but I like the schedule for them because they're playing Washington, but then they're playing Kansas City. This is an opportunity here. That's a very big rivalry between those two teams, so I have a feeling that may come down to the wire, and that means that Derek Carr is going to need to rely on someone like DeSean Jackson. Now, again, that's against Kansas City. This week, coming up in Week 13, they will face Washington, and then they face Cleveland. These are all exploitable opportunities for the wide receivers, especially someone like DeSean Jackson, who is only 5% rostered. I'm going to run through some other wide receivers who could be available, and here's why I don't love it. I'm going to go through this quickly so I don't waste all of your time here. Devontae Parker for the Dolphins, no timetable to return. Will Fuller for the Dolphins, no timetable to return. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, an option, but a very crowded offense, and he's one big play, dropped ball away from Aaron Rodgers, hating him again. Sterling Shepard, quad injury, no definite timetable to return. Laviska Shenault, crappy offense, and Urban Meyer sucks and also hates him. Russell Gage, offense runs through Cordero Patterson. So if you want to get lucky and rely on a touchdown, Russell Gage is an option. Traquan Smith for the Saints. Taysom Hill is going to be taking over as the starter. I don't hate this ad. I just have no idea what the offense is going to look like without Alvin Kamara, without Mark Ingram, when they're going to come back. Still questions on questions on questions. So those are tough. They are available. That's why I don't absolutely love them, but there are options that you could add, except the Miami Dolphins. Stay away from them, in my opinion. Now, let's hop into our last segment before we talk about quarterbacks and defenses, and those are our tight end positions. Not much here, guys. Not much, guys and gals, excuse me. Foster Moreau, like I mentioned, he's going to be the tight end 1 now with Darren Waller if he misses time. He's only about 1% rostered. It's a contingency plan. Don't bank on him having huge games like Darren Waller can do. It's just not humanly possible. They're facing Washington, Kansas City, and Cleveland, like I mentioned earlier. Opportunity. Like I said, there's opportunity there. Just like I love DeSean Jackson in the wide receiver position, Foster Moreau has the opportunity here against those defenses. Another one that I've been liking quite a bit, and I'm liking it more and more, is Cole Kmet of the Bears. This one's a little riskier because we're not exactly sure what's going on with the quarterback position between Andy Dalton and Justin Fields. Either way, he did see a season-high 11 targets with Andy Dalton under center, and he has also seen a significant amount of targets even with Justin Fields. So he had 8 receptions for 65 yards on those 11 targets. Schedule isn't great, though. They're going to play Arizona, Green Bay, and the Minnesota Vikings. All right, and then last but not least, another kind of throwback tight end, if you will, I suppose. He's been in the league for a while. Jack Doyle of the Colts. I brought up T.Y. Hilton, how he has opportunity. Same thing kind of goes here for Jack Doyle. He's only 1% rostered. Now, the big body tight end in that offense is Mo Alley-Cox, but Jack Doyle can get it done. He's a veteran in that offense. He also saw a season high in targets as well as receptions and yards, and he scored his 3rd touchdown of the season against the Buccaneers. And Wentz has made a habit now of looking at him, especially in the end zone or in red zone opportunities. He is touchdown dependent, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that he's going to be a smash play. You're still going to have to hold your nose and cross your fingers like you do streaming the tight end position, but you may have to. If you have someone like Darren Waller, kind of like I do, and I'm picking up Jack Doyle. or Cole Kmet, whichever one I can get. But I do kind of like Jack Doyle's upside just a little bit more. They are facing Houston, New England, and Arizona. All right, let's get into our streaming options. Put on our snorkel gear. Let's put on our wetsuits. Hop into that frigid December agua. Quarterbacks. Let's start with this. Tua Tagovailoa. I see you. They're doing very well. He is just under 40% rostered, maybe 40 or maybe just a little bit higher. Just around that 40% mark is kind of what I'm saying here. They're facing the Giants this week, and the Giants have allowed the 7th most points to the quarterback position. And then my favorite, who I am actually starting in one of my leagues over Ryan Tannehill, it is the amazing Taylor Heinicke from the Washington football team. He is around 30% rostered, and they're going against Las Vegas. Now, this is interesting because Vegas's defense season long against quarterbacks isn't terrible, but they've been 9th worst over the last 4 weeks, and Taylor Heinicke has been getting red hot over the last few weeks as well. So I do like Heinicke's opportunity in week 13. Now, before we wrap it up here and I send you on your merry way, let's talk about 2 defenses that I think are excellent streaming options for week 13. We have the Dolphins. They're facing the Giants, as I mentioned, with Tua. The Giants are 16th worst against the opposing defenses and special teams, And then the Vikings. They're not really rostered in a lot of places, but you know what? The most important thing here is that they're facing the Lions. I mean, it's the Lions, guys. So pick up the Vikings if you can. I think that is a smash play for your defenses. But if the Vikings are already gone, I totally get it. You can go after the Dolphins. I like them as well. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining me again for another Waivers and Streamers episode heading into week 13. This is crazy. It's like we're going to blink and it's going to be the championship weekend. It's kind of scary. I don't like that the season is coming to a close here pretty soon for us fantasy players such as you and I. Please go ahead and like this video if you have not done so already, and also make sure please to subscribe to us here at Mayo Media Net. So many wonderful content creators, so much great stuff coming out just for you to dominate. Not just in daily fantasy, well, in daily fantasy, not just in redraft, but in daily fantasy, we got all sorts of stuff coming out for our network. Pretty amazing. Also follow us on social media at Mayo Media Net. You can follow me on social media at Stepmom Lauren. And don't forget, sign up for PrizePicks.com. Use the promo code MMN. And you get your deposit of up to $100 matched. Join in on our 7-Eleven challenge if you'd like. 5 over-unders and change your bet amount to $7.11. And good luck in week 13.